We have two words of the week this week, and they come from Luke's account of John the Baptist. So let's start out in Luke chapter 3, verses 4 through 6 from the ESV. As it is written in the book of the words of Isaiah the prophet, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. Every valley shall be filled, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. And the crooked shall become straight, and the rough places shall become level ways, and all flesh shall see the salvation of God. So, before we proceed, let's take a quick glance at Matthew and Mark's quotations of Isaiah to refer to the coming of John the Baptist. First up, Matthew 3:3, for this is he who was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah when he said, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. As it is written in Isaiah the prophet, behold, I send my messenger before your face, who will prepare your way, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. Let's go back and take a second look at Luke's quotation from Isaiah. Prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. Every valley shall be filled, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall become straight, and the rough places shall become level ways, and all flesh shall see the salvation of God. So before we get to our words of the week, why do you think that Luke's use of Isaiah is so much more expansive than that of Matthew and Mark? The simple answer, the simple logical answer in my mind is their audiences and their nature as writers themselves. So if I say to you this phrase, our Father who art in heaven, you almost certainly know the next line. If you are an American, and I say to you, I pledge allegiance to the flag, you almost surely know the next part is of the United States of America, right? When you're raised in a culture, you're primed for certain signals. There are things that when you hear a snippet or a fragment of it, you know the rest. You know what comes next. 7 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, right? There are people out there who immediately know what I'm quoting, who I'm quoting, and what the context was, right? It's the Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln consecrating a cemetery at a battlefield during the United States Civil War. So you're primed by the culture in which you're raised. If you are raised in Judea as a Jewish person in the first century, and you've been raised awaiting the arrival of the Messiah, the Isaiah quote is well known to you. You've heard it countless times. And just the beginning, prepare the way of the Lord, make his path straight, primes you for the rest. You know what it's about. You don't need to hear the whole thing. But not so for Luke, the Gentile, writing to his Gentile audience. So he doesn't presume that Theophilus, noble Theophilus, is aware of the whole of the Isaiah quote. So he gives much more of it, right? That just makes sense. If someone's primed for it, you don't have to give them the whole thing. You can give them the snippet. If they're not primed for it, you need to give them more so that they understand the importance of the message, right? So Luke refers to 4 works of a frontrunner or a forerunner. In history, when a king was making a journey to go someplace to pay a visit to a part of his kingdom, frontrunners, forerunners went ahead, not just to announce that he was coming, but to make sure that a good face was put on things, that if the way was difficult, so that in his journey in a carriage and a wagon on a palanquin being carried by people, that the dips in the road were filled in, that humps were leveled out, that if it's a rough and rocky road, it was raked and cleared, so that the pathway for the coming king would be prepared and smoothed and made easy. That's part of the front runner or the forerunner's job. And John the Baptist is the front runner or forerunner of the Messiah. So the Isaiah quote says, the ravines will be filled in, the mountains and the hills will be made low, the crooked paths will be made straight, and finally we get to our words of the week. Let's look at them in Koine. Kai aitrakeai eis hodus leas. And so kai and haitrakeai, the rough places, plural, eis hodus leas, for smooth roads or ways. Hodus is road or way, and leos from leos is smooth. So we have haitrakeai, the rough, from trakus, rough places. You can see it in Acts chapter 17, verse 29, talking about a place where the sailing is rough, like there's rocks under the water and it's rough sailing. And then it's being compared to hodus leos, from leos, smooth by in the sense of being leveled. Like it's no longer a rough surface, it's a smooth surface. It's not bumpy, it's not gritty, it's easily transversed. So the words of the week, trakus, rough, leos, smooth, are part of John the Baptist's ministry of preparing the way for the Messiah. When the Messiah comes, the way is not literally going to be smoothed. He's not literally going to knock down hills and fill in valleys, but he's going to get the people ready so when their king arrives, they're in the right frame to receive him and accept him. Ravines filled in, mountains and hills made low, crooked paths made straight. The rough surfaces, tracheae, are smooth and become hodus leos, smooth, level paths. So that's the literal work, but it's being done figuratively by John the Baptist, so when the Messiah comes, the people are ready to receive their king. Trakus, rough, leos, smooth, words of the week. I hope it was good for you. If it was, like, share, subscribe, leave me some feedback in the comments, and until next time, Karis Kairene, grace and peace to you.